Okay, so welcome again, everybody. Um, as Kim explained, the indicators were built around classes that Ray had provided, and in my case, when I joined the group 6-7 years ago, it became evident to me very quickly that to try and track all the moving pieces that Ray was describing in the classes, I was going to need some help in terms of computer assistance. So I started to build a number of indicators around those classes. And the first release of the package, which is called Often, Order Flow Trading Enhancements, that first release, I think it was about 2018, had 10 indicators. It now has over 40 in the Sierra version. There's slightly fewer in the Ninja version because I'm in the middle of translating some indicators from Sierra to Ninja. I do all the development on Sierra first and then translate. So it's become a very large package that sort of reflects the fact that over the years, Ray has continued to introduce new concepts, new ways of analyzing the market and looking at the market and understanding price action. So obviously we won't cover 44 indicators today, but I have selected a number that I think will be useful, both for newcomers, those who are new to the room, or maybe even new to trading, and those who are more experienced, some of whom have been in the room for a while. So some of you will see totally new indicators, some of you will see familiar indicators, but the key message really is never to trade on the basis of one indicator signal. You'll see as we go through, I hope, that some of the indicators provide very good signals in terms of what is likely to be the market direction or imminent market direction. And you may be tempted to jump in as soon as you see a signal appear, but it's very important to try and get some confluence, getting several indicators that all confirm the direction, the price direction, so that you can enter the trade with a high degree of confidence that it's going to work. And I'll try as we go through to illustrate some examples where the indicators do come together to give a good signal, group of signals, and some cases where, although one indicator seems to suggest that it's a good trade to enter, buy or sell, some of the other indicators show that it's not a good trade, or at least it's a high risk trade. So I'll try and pick out some of those examples as we go through. Obviously, if you have any questions on the way through, then just fire away. Don't think there's too many in the chat. Rami, I'm based in France, so it's currently 9:14 p.m. my time. So I'm 6 hours ahead of New York, 1 hour ahead of London. So the times you see on the bottom of the charts are my local time. So it's, as I say, 6 hours ahead of New York. So let's start. This first chart is based on an exercise that Ray does from time to time, aimed at teaching new traders how to watch the charts and recognize price action patterns that will lead to a particular setup or potential trade setup. And in the case of this interns exercise, the idea is to pick out price action patterns that will indicate that we're likely to break a preceding high or a preceding low. And the idea being that you would take the trade as soon as that high or low had been broken. Now, this is not designed to be a profitable trading strategy. Anyone who's traded a breakout strategy for any length of time will know that it has hits and misses. Sometimes it works well, and sometimes it just chops you around, and you end up with a bunch of losers. So it's not meant to be a trading strategy on its own. As I say, this is really designed to help new traders get familiar with the charts and price action. Now, the indicator itself is designed purely to help traders who are doing this exercise, because it's the requirement is that they do it manually, or visibly at least, on their own, without the aid of an indicator. But the indicator is there so they can check afterwards if they did pick out all the potential trade signals. So it's a pretty simple indicator, and you'll see that it puts on this green bar, for example, it's put a line at a price 45.59.25. This is on the ES chart, by the way. It's also a 5-tick range bar chart, so all the bars are exactly 5 ticks from high to low. I just happened to be testing it today. It seemed to work pretty well with this set of indicators, so I thought I'd leave it there. So it draws a line at where the potential breakout would be, and then as soon as that price is broken, in this case breaks the low, then you'll get a small diamond shape appear on the bar that broke the low. So you can see that on this downtrend, it's exclusively sell signals. The indicator works with 2 moving averages. One is a 200 moving average, the other one is a 20. And basically, the idea is that you'll be trading with the trend. So the indicator looks to see what the status is on the moving averages, and if they're both going down, as is the case here, then it will look exclusively for sell signals. So you can see that you had a number of signals on the way down here, some of which would have made a few ticks, 1 or 2 just made 1 or 2 ticks at the most. So as I said, it's not really a highly profitable trading strategy. But the idea is really just to give the new traders some experience in working with this particular exercise. So you can see that things remain pretty much on a downtrend for most of the day. This is today's chart, by the way. All of the examples are from today, so didn't pick out any really good ones. But you can see that as we got into about 5:30 my time, so it's about 11:30 a.m. New York, we started to see the fast moving average start to move up. We got a buy signal here, which remained open for quite a few bars until eventually we got an up move that triggered it. That trade, if you were actually trading it, would have made a few ticks, so that didn't work out too badly. And as we move through the day, you see the uptrend continued, so the indicator switches to buy signals only as it moves up this trend. We'll go through all of the examples. This is getting close to current time. And that's it. So you can see we're getting some buy signals here and some sell signals. Now the next stage of the interns exercise is really to build that understanding about not just relying on a moving average, which is obviously a lagging indicator, but looking at something a bit more immediate in terms of confirming the trend direction. So one of the other indicators I put together was a thing called order flow imbalance. I'll take the intern exercise off for a moment just so that the trade doesn't get, or chart doesn't get too cluttered. So this indicator, order flow imbalance, what it does is looks at the bid and ask volumes within each individual bar and determines whether there's a bias on the bid side or on the offer side. So if it's on the offer side, then you get a red or orange circle like this. And if it's on the bid side, then you get a green circle. So this helps you, again, it's not a signal to enter a trade. It's simply saying, here's what's happening in terms of the bids and ask activity in each of these bars. So where it finds an imbalance, in this case, the offer volume or the ask volume was significantly higher than the bid volume. So it says we have an imbalance in favor of the sellers. The size of the circle just means, well, it's a degree of the size of the imbalance. The greater the imbalance, the bigger the circle. So here you see we have an imbalance in favor of the sellers, but it's a minor one. And same sort of deal with the buy signals. So without looking at any moving averages, you can see this would give you confirmation that we're in an uptrend here, and there's no selling anywhere going on during this uptrend, or at least there's no overall bias to the sell side till we get up here, and then we get a major imbalance and things start to move down. So this again was just put together to give new traders a bit of help and support in trying to identify in which direction things should be moving as they work through the exercise. So fairly simple indicator, not too difficult. Do the indicators work on Renko charts? Do they give different signals? Well, yes, they work on Renko charts. You may get different signals because of the way that the charts will divide up the bars. I mean, a Renko bar will not necessarily be the same size as a 5-minute chart bar, and therefore the bid and ask volumes internally may well be different. And so you may see an imbalance on a 5-minute bar that you don't see in a Renko bar. But the indicators will work on Renko. Yeah. Okay. Then it's based on order book or actual trades. So that's on actual trades. So we're getting feedback on who's doing most of the activity. Is it on the buy side or on the sell side? We have some other indicators that look at liquidity, resting liquidity from the book. So we'll cover some of that later on. But this is on actual traded volume. Okay. The next item or the next phase of the intern's exercise is, rather than wait for a breakout to occur before you enter the trade, is to try and spot where it's going to trade before it actually makes the breakthrough. And that's a thing called before she goes, or BSG. So we'll put that on the chart. I'll take this one off in the meantime. And this again gives the intern trader, the novice trader, some confirmation about where price is likely to go. And again, it's looking at whether a particular low or high is going to be broken. So obviously the down arrow means it's going to break to the downside, and the up arrow means that it's going to break to the upside. So it's a fairly simple indicator to follow. Again, it's not an entry signal. This is just something you would use with the other indicators that I've mentioned so far. to get some confirmation. But it's the second stage, as I say, of the intern's exercise is trying to spot before the trade actually or the breakthrough happens, where it's about to happen. So that's how you would use this indicator. As you can see, it follows trend pretty much the same as the other one. So you're getting a degree of confidence if all of these things line up. And then the next part of the trade interns exercise is dealing with things like level 1 and level 2 and failed auctions. Now, if you're not familiar with these terms, I'll put the indicator up and just remove this so we get a clear view of what we are looking at. Now you see a number of characters and symbols on the chart. So L2B means that's the level 2 buyer. It's basically where we've had a swing low, which is a level 1, and followed by a lower low, which is level 2, when it moves back into the value area. I won't go through all of the interns exercise. We'll be here all night, but basically this is the sort of thing you would look for as potential buy trade, and the level 2 sell at the top there is where you look for sell trades. And this little triangle, upward triangle, is a thing called the Heisman trade. And this is, again, using these indicators in conjunction with what we've already seen to determine that this move has a good chance of moving further. And indeed it does. And same with the sell trade, so downward pointing triangle, giving you some indication of a Heisman sell trade there. There are other indicators to pre-warn you about potential before she goes. And you also have on this chart things like FBA, which is a failed buy auction. So you can see that the previous auction went up to this high, but the next auction failed to reach that high. So it's a failed buy auction. And we can also have a failed sell auction, where, for example, we had a low down here, and the next sell auction failed to get through that low, so it failed. And same again here. So in the exercise, if you join in the interns exercise with Ray, you need to be familiar with all of these concepts about failed auctions and level 1, level 2. But you have an indicator here that will give you the support you need to fully understand where they are on the chart, and hopefully give you some guidance about where you should be looking to determine these interns trades. Okay, let's check if there are any questions. Previous dots chart, does this correlate to volume delta? No. No, it's just looking at the way price has moved and with what speed, if you like, in terms of the move that it makes. Just put it back up for a minute. But as I explained, it's looking at a traded volume within the bar. So it's not a cumulative delta. It's looking bar by bar what is happening inside that bar. If you did sort of delta bid minus ask type of thing on individual bars, then it would be roughly equivalent. Obviously, delta doesn't signal, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't signal if you have an imbalance on the bar, which this one does. But I mean, it's similar sort of concepts. We're looking at traded volume, which Delta obviously does as well. But it's analyzing it slightly differently, if you like. Okay. Does it pain while the candle is forming? I guess you mean paint. Yes. I mean, the dots you may find that some of these signals appear and disappear. For example, as a bar is forming, then obviously you may get an imbalance at a certain point, and then that imbalance may disappear. You know, if we had a bid imbalance because there's more buying and selling, but then some sellers started to appear before that bar closed, then the signal may disappear. And that's true of a number of real-time indicators. We'll try and remember to point that out as we go through. Okay. So hope that answers your question, Scott. Right. Let's move on to another chart. This time we're looking at gold. It's on a 1-minute chart. And what you're looking at here is an indicator called the gold scalper. And as the name suggests, it's designed to give you some scalp trades on gold. It's based on a lesson that Ray did. Well, he's done a few on gold scalping, but I think the initial one on which I based the indicator was from September of last year. I think around 30th, September 30th, if I remember correctly. But I'm sure Kim can give you some guidance if you're looking for it. But it's using a couple of correlated markets. One is the silver market, the other one is copper, because they're obviously all precious metals. So they should work together. But for reasons best known to himself, Ray insisted on having the silver negatively correlated and the copper positively correlated. Now, if I move back a little bit, they're pretty close together here. So, because there are two lines here, one in pink, one in blue, and the one in pink is the silver skew. So, I think the formula is silver times 60 minus 2 times gold. And in this one, the skew is 2 times gold minus 250 times copper. And the other line is just the single without the skew. So 60 times silver minus gold and gold minus 250 times copper. So those are the two lines. Basically, the indicator looks for some divergence between them. And also takes into account cumulative delta on the bottom here, as well as this line that you hopefully see in purple is the pressure line, which is again one of the often indicators, which is like a momentum indicator. And usually you don't want to trade against this direction. You can see here it actually turned up prior to that sell signal. Now, the bar went down, so you probably could have made 1 or 2 ticks on that down bar. But the indication from the pressure line is don't expect this to go very far because, momentum is upwards. And you can see we've got a series of buy signals here. Bit of toing and froing to begin with, but eventually it moved up. So you would have got a decent scalp trade. Pressure lines start to move down, so that's an indication. If you're still in the buy trade at that point, you should be thinking about getting out. And you see we get a sell signal just after that, and price action continues down. We get a a buy signal here, just on a very small upturn on the pressure line, but it's enough to get quite a few ticks. And because of the way the lines are moving and pressure lines moving, we get a sell signal even on an up bar here, which works out pretty well. So obviously with a scalping indicator, you have to be quick. I mean, that's the whole idea of scalping, right? That you're in and out very quickly. And as you can see, this is on a 1 minute chart. You're getting signals pretty much every minute. So it's something that needs a bit of practice. You wouldn't just jump into this, use the indicator on its own, and just take trades based on every signal. You want to see that what the pressure line is doing, and also keep an eye on delta. Now, to help you, the indicator will post up here a thing called the current bar score, which you see is currently at -1. I'll just change to +1. And that's making a calculation based on the shape of the silver and copper correlated markets, also the cumulative delta direction, and the pressure line. So it's taking all those into account, working out the score. It's currently gone to 0, which means there's no signal. And it's best to obviously look for a higher score before you decide to enter a trade. Now, I think if I remember rightly, the highest score would be 8. So either 6 or 8. It's a while since I looked at the code, but anyway, once you get above 3 or 4, then you can have confidence in the signal. You see again, it's coming up with signals in real time, and they will change in real time, just based on what's happening on the bar. So you see that if it has a -1 or a +1, it can very easily change to the opposite direction quite quickly. So you need to wait for a very clear indication that it has a decent score and therefore some momentum behind it. But I've traded with it, quite a few times. It works pretty well. Once you get, as I say, it needs a bit of practice so that you can understand the signals and when to jump in and when to sit back. But it's quite useful. It works out quite profitable anyway. As a sort of confirmation, what I'm showing here is, again, I've got the pressure line, this time in a separate panel. And what I'm looking for is a direct divergence between the pressure line and price. Now, the indicator that draws these lines, a thing called market divergence, again, part of the Often package. And it draws either a white line, which means this is a sell or bearish divergence. So one here that went down, another one here that went down. Or it will print a yellow line. We have one here, which is a bullish divergence. And you can see that price moved up. So it's it can be quite useful. For example, we're getting buy signals here, a bit of chopping around in terms of price. So you may wonder if it's worth getting in at this point. But once you see a confirmation from this divergence, a bullish divergence, then you can have some confidence of taking one of these buy signals, and it paid off. So as I was saying earlier, it's always good to have some second opinion, if you like, from other indicators to back up your initial intention in terms of a trade entry. You set an alarm when the bar score goes above or below a certain number. Can't remember, to be honest. I have alarms on lots of things, but let me see. No, but I could easily put one in. I mean, you can Yeah, it's not there at the moment, Sam, but that would be very easy to add. I'll put it on my long list of requests. Okay. More questions on the gold scalper. So, as I say, it's really a question of keeping an eye on this score, and that'll help you track what's happening elsewhere, because it can get a bit difficult trying to keep track of 4 moving lines and delta bars and 5 moving lines, including a pressure line. So it's good to have something that does the work for you. Right. Next up is NASDAQ. So again, this is on today's chart, 1 minute again. NASDAQ, as you probably know, moves pretty quickly at times. So you need to be on a fairly short time frame chart to get some useful signals. So what I've got on this chart is thing called Voltic, which draws these circles with the numbers underneath. And you see as we go through, it has different colored circles. A blue circle means that the speed of trading at this price was at least double the average of previous bars. And you could set a parameter over how many bars you want to compute the average trading speed. But it'll immediately post this indicator as soon as the trading speed exceeds twice the average. And we have an orange one that says the trading speed is more than 3 times the average, and a purple one which is more than 5 times the average speed. So obviously a lot of frantic trading going on. So we'll see some of those as we go through. But for the moment, we've got a few Voltics coming in here. And these are quite often indications that something is about to happen, maybe a trade reversal. You see you had some absorption on this downtrend here. And the other thing that I've got, a couple of things on the chart. This one here is TSV, which is time segmented volume, which basically chops up the price action into time segments and analyzes how it's moving. This is a sort of a momentum indicator again. Excuse me. And also the moving average, which I think is about a 5 or a 7 moving average on here, just so that we can see when it's moving faster than the average. And at the bottom, we've got another often indicator called the full VZ score, or VZ score for those of you in North America. And this can be, or these two can be quite useful in terms of identifying when things are likely to change direction. For the full VZ score, we have 2 elements here. It has a volume Z score, which is the histogram, and a price Z score, which is the line. And basically, when you see, you may be able to make out these 2 lines, gray lines, one at +2 and one at -2. Those are standard deviations. So if you see the Z score, either the volume Z score or the price Z score, go beyond the 2 standard deviations, then it can indicate a change of direction. When you see the volume Z score is at a maximum, so it's above +2 standard deviations, and the price Z score is at a minimum, so it's below -2 standard deviations. And that will usually indicate there's some change of direction. So you can see the downtrend at least stalled for a few bars and started to go up. Continued for a while, but it's pretty much into a balance area after that point. For the TSV, the time segmented volume, again, it's an indication of when things get very high or very low that when you see it start to move in a different direction, then price will probably follow suit. So you see it was up here, but then started to turn down, and the price started down as well. So again, it's just trying to get some confluence of indicators that will give you some information about what may well happen. Now, this here is a thing called an indicator, another often indicator called the block trade. And it identifies where obviously some large trader has put on a very large trade in one go. So this is 131 lots sell side. So you see it obviously didn't work out too well for him, whoever it was. I mean, the price is at, or the indication, the top of this box is at the price where the trade took place. So it did go down a few ticks. So if he was very quick, he might have got out without losing too much, but otherwise he was trapped in this uptrend. So again, it's good to know where these block trades happen. We'll see one or two more. You can set a filter on this, how many trades make a block trade, like more than 100. I think I've got the filter set to 100. So it won't, like if there's a block trade of 50, it wouldn't show on here. So only trades above 100 lots will be shown as block trades on this chart. Now, here we get an interesting set of events. Strong down bar here. At the bottom, we've got a Voltic. I should have explained that the numbers at the bottom of the Voltic signal give an indication of whether there was a bias on the bullish side or the bearish side in that high-speed trading activity. And in this case, as it's yellow, that means it was on the buy side, the bullish side. So we can see that a lot of buyers started to come in here. Just before that, there were a couple of big block sells, and that managed to move price down further. Right at the bottom of this bar, or the close of this bar, you can see another Voltic. This is the purple one. So this means the speed of trading here is 5 times, at least 5 times the average. So pretty frantic stuff going on here. Obviously the sellers, these large sellers, wanted to keep things moving down. But as we saw, there were some buyers coming in here, and they managed to absorb some of the selling at the bottom here. The bias on the Voltic was still predominantly selling, but these numbers have differing values, and ones and twos are not really significant. It's when you get an imbalance of about 4 or 5 on a Voltic that it really counts. I mean, this is pretty much like 1.23 is almost 1-to-1. So there's not a substantial difference between the amount of buying and selling in this particular Voltic. But here, as we see, there was a lot of trading going on in there. Now, the other thing about TSV is if you see quite a sharp V shape like this, it will usually mean that price is about to reverse. We also get the same sort of signal from the full VZ score well above the 2 standard deviations on the volume Z score, and below the -2 standard deviations on the price, which again indicates a change of direction. So you've got a number of elements here, all saying that something's going to happen here, like before it actually takes place. But then you get the confirmation from these 2 indicators that, yeah, this is going to change direction and start going up. So again, it's a sort of confluence that you look for entering a trade, so you don't risk too much. Okay, so this was on today's NASDAQ. I don't know if See some block trades, block buys here, and block sells. The number 1 afterwards mean it was a single trade that delivered that number of blocks. If it detects more than 1, then it will show 2 or 3 as the number here, so you know how many trades were involved. But here it was a very large single block trade. More Baltics here, and didn't get above the standard deviations on the Z score. You see a change of direction for the TSV. It's pretty happy moving down with the downtrend, but then starts to move above its moving average. And this is usually an indication that price is likely to change direction. At least it will stall here, but likely to change direction and start moving up. Okay, don't know if there was that much more action on the NASDAQ today. Obviously with other indicators you get more signals. What I wanted to do here was look at confluence of certain indicators that will give you clear guidance on likely direction of the move. Here again you see the TSV dipping below its average. There was nothing significant. It was, yeah, it just moved above the VZ score, moved just above the 2 standard deviations here and below here, so we can again anticipate a slight change of direction. Didn't go very far up, but at least you know the downtrend is going to stall there. And some more block buys. Another flurry of activity here. So again, as I said, when you see a cluster of Baltics like this, it's a good indication that something is about to happen, usually a change of direction. And you see that was the case here. Okay, not a lot more to talk about on this NASDAQ chart. No, we're up to date. So again, another Baltic here is price reversed. Okay. Yes, Bob, it's recorded. Right, moving on to CL and crude oil. So still on today's chart. Again, it's a 1-minute chart, but again, the indicators work on different types of charts, Renko or different period charts. So what have we got on here? This yellow line is the book. So this is looking at the liquidity on the limit order book. And basically looking at the bid minus the ask. So if it's going up, then it's predominantly a bid or bullish bias on the book. If it's going down, then it's a bearish bias. So the other line we've got on here, well, a few things on here, but we've got a red and blue line. Hopefully it's visible. Blue's not, maybe not as visible. Let's see if I can change that. I guess this one. Make this I pick a color I'm not using elsewhere, but I think this will be okay. Right, so hopefully you can see the pale blue and red line here. And what this is looking at is stacking and pulling activity on the limit order book, bar by bar. So it's saying that, for example, if you look here, that where it's red, that's predominantly pulling, or at least stacking the offer or pulling bids. And when it's blue, that means they're stacking bids or pulling offers. So obviously the red is a sort of bearish signal and the blue is a bullish signal. So this is bar by bar. It gives you some indication of what the traders are doing on the limit order book if they're predominantly adding to the bid or adding to the stack. I've set the book so it's looking at 4 levels, 4 price levels around the current price. So 4 levels above and 4 levels below. And the stacking, I've looked at 10 levels just to give a wider view of how much stacking and pulling is going on. Obviously, they will tend to work in conjunction with each other, but not necessarily. You can see that we get some divergence occasionally where the activity near to the current price is still bearish, but on a wider view, it's changing to bullish. And this is the sort of thing that can give you some heads up about potential changes of direction, because the stacking and pulling does tend to be pretty accurate in terms of where price will move. Now, it can chop around, obviously, because it's a bar by bar, and it can change from bar to bar and what happens. But it's worth looking at before you decide to enter a particular trade. Now, the other thing that got on here is measured move, which is this blue block here. It paints green and blue blocks on the chart. And these are also good indications of where price is likely to either bounce or at least stall. So if you're in the trade, it's a good idea perhaps to reduce your size or take profit. And we'll see as we go through that a number of times price does exactly bounce off these measured moves. The other indicator on here, and this is one that has not been released yet, is ROB, which, as Kim mentioned at the start, is just waiting for the final go-ahead from Ray. He's asked me to check a couple of things on it. So we'll do that, and then hopefully we can go with it. But ROB is a refreshed order book. So again, using order book activity. And what it does is once it identifies a setup, and again, this is in real time, so you can expect that Rob may change his mind on the way through a particular bar. May see some examples on the way through. But the pink line here means it's a sell trade. So the thicker pink line is where the price at which Rob detected the signal, and the thin pink line is stop loss. Now you can set the parameter for the stop loss. I think it's set to 5 ticks on this, but obviously you can adjust that depending on the market you're in, the volatility. But basically, what we've got here is the stacking and pulling was going up, is now started to come down. In fact, it goes bearish on the next bar. So that's some indication that, yeah, this trade could be okay. Delta is also negative, so it's pretty safe to enter the sell trade there. And you see it goes down a few ticks, not a huge amount. This is a 1-minute chart, so from the time it's signaled at what was that, 7:52, went down as far as 40, 42, 43. So I bet you get about 8 or 9 ticks anyway. And then you get a signal in the opposite direction. So if you're in the sell trade still, and you see the stacking has suddenly switched to quite strongly bullish, then you would get out of the sell trade and think about getting into the buy trade from Rob. And again, with the stacking moving up, it's probably a safe trade. Notice that the book near term, so closest to the price action, is actually going down. It's a bit bearish at that stage, but the overall activity on the book is bullish. So it's a good indication that although things may be sort of balance area for a few bars, you can see that the book starts to flatten out at that stage. That overall, with the bullish stacking on the bid, then you have a good chance of making some profit on that trade. You get a vol tick up here at the top, which suggests that something's about to change. And obviously, if you had put some other indicators like TSV or the full VZ score on here as well, then we could get some idea of whether a change in the trend was imminent. Okay, and the stacking obviously started to go bearish as well. So we'll just go through, see if you got some more examples. I keep vol tick on the charts, most of the charts, because it's a really valuable indicator to give you a sense of where the trading activity is really focused. Here we get another Rob signal. The stacking's starting to move down, so that's okay. The book overall is pretty flat, so no strong indication there. Delta is down. So again, you get a few ticks out of that, but it's not a great trade by any means, but certainly you can make some profit and get to break even. Just look at, again, this is a good indication that we're hitting a level which is important for somebody. As we get down from around 77.50 down to 77.25, see a whole bunch of vol ticks here, activity, mainly, well, it's not a strong buying, bullish bias, but there's more buying than selling, put it that way, till we get to the bottom one. And then there's sellers trying to push things further down, but not managing to do so. You see that the stacking started to push up, still slightly a bearish bias, but it's beginning to stack on the bid side and pull the offers. And the book also close to the price action is up. So you had some early indication that things were about to change even before you saw this stream of vol ticks coming in to give you a heads up. Okay. Here's one of the green blocks on the measured move. And this one is a very important confirmation that the price is about to change direction, because it's a very high probability once price gets down here, you'll see, first of all, you'll see some vol ticks as this measured move level becomes more and more important. And you also start to see some pins on the down bars here. A good indication that price is about to bounce here. Also, you get a rub buy signal just afterwards with the book going up. The stacking on that bar is up. It switches down shortly afterwards, but with the book up strongly and the delta's up strongly, I think you're safe to stay in the trade, at least for the time being. I mean, the stacking, as I say, is bar by bar, so it can change from one bar to the next. You see just a couple of bars later, it starts stacking on the bids again. So even there's a bit of a balance area here. You know that it's likely to continue higher with the book going up and this stacking on the bids. So that Rob trade would work out pretty well. Then at the top you get a Rob sell signal. Now this one is one I would class as risky. It actually went a few ticks below the price, but you have the book still in an uptrend. You have the stacking, which has remained bullish, stacking on the bids all the way up here. And so that's an indication that this is probably, if it goes to the downside at all, it won't go very far because the book is against it and the stacking and pulling is against it. So risky trade, and as you can see, it didn't go very far. Probably only got about 3 or 4 ticks before it reversed and would have stopped you out. Okay, don't want to spend too long on this. I'm not sure if Greg has arrived yet, but I'll continue anyway. Here's another one that was quite risky with the book going up quite strongly. We have stacking on the bids as well coming into that area. And again, this is a signal that maybe it went 1 or 2 ticks, but it certainly didn't before it stopped you out. The thing about the Rob trades are that very often the price level it gives is worth keeping an eye on, because as you see here, both the book and the stacking turned down. So there's more stacking on the offer, which is a bearish sign. The book is also turning bearish. So at that point might be worth, even if you decided it was too risky back here, that you could decide to enter it here. And that would have given you a few ticks. Not a massive trade by any means, but if you were going in at 29, went down to 14. So you could have got $150 in a few minutes. Anyway. Okay. More Rob sell signals here. That one looked okay because the stacking was down, book was starting to turn down. So he made a little bit of profit there. This one is a little bit more iffy because the stacking is started to turn up. So as you can see, it didn't go quite as far. But still have to get a few ticks in profit before you move your stop to break even. Okay, so move this on a little bit more quickly. Another Rob buy trade. So most of these, you see, you'll get at least a few ticks. As I say, we're on a 1 minute chart, so don't expect to get hundreds of ticks out of it. But they are pretty reliable, at least to get a few ticks of profit. I was just trying to see if there was any trades that Rob had cancelled. Don't see any. Because what happens is that, as I said, it's real-time signal. And that one's still active. But what Rob will do is, if during the evolution of this bar, if it's signaled because it's found the activity indicates a refreshed order book, it will signal that. But if the activity during the evolution of the bar changes so that it no longer represents a Rob or a refreshed order book, it will color these lines gray, so you know it's no longer valid. And if I remember rightly, you also get an alert to tell you it's switched off, so that if you had gone into the trade early, you have a chance to rethink things. Doesn't mean that the trade will necessarily fail, but it's just saying that I no longer have a setup that's valid. So, be careful. Okay, that was Rob. Kim, I'll rely on you to jump in if you tell me that Greg is waiting impatiently to join in. I just have a couple of things to show quickly, and then I can hand over.
Yes, he said you could go ahead and share. He is going to be able to join us, so thank you for that, Greg. But David, you're doing the good job. I've had some say, if you can let them know too, these are available in Ninja or show something on Ninja. Sometimes it's hard to switch platforms. Not all of us
Yeah,
are as talented as Ray.
I mean the reason I chose Sierra was because, as you've seen, I swapping indicators in and out. When you do that on Ninja, it recalculates everything. It takes, 30 seconds or something to come back with the chart. I have one or two Ninja charts around. There's, for example, this is the pressure line on Ninja. That market divergence I was showing earlier on for, I think it was on gold, works the same way on Ninja. So we got an orange here means it's a bearish divergence, and the blue means it's a bullish divergence. So it works exactly the same way. These blue dots and yellow dots are voltics on Ninja. So it, as I say, most of the indicators available on Sierra are also available on Ninja. I do have some translations still to do. I think if I have anything. There's this is still under test. This is the gold scalper that you saw earlier on. So I didn't put up a lot of Ninja charts because Ninja's quite heavy on resources anyway. But at least you can see that these indicators work exactly the same way. But I'm just, as I say, using Sierra simply because it's faster to move stuff in and out. Where are we on now? It's micro ES. Again, some voltics on here. We've got the VPEN as well, which is something gives you an indication of toxic trades. And down at the bottom, you can see some more of these measured moves. This other indicator on here is a price reversal indicator called PREV. And it will paint a yellow upward triangle if it's detected that price is about to reverse and start going up, or a pink downward facing triangle if it thinks price is about to go down. Now, like all indicators, gives an indication, but it's not a definitive, this is going to move into a large uptrend. Yes, from the point it signaled, it went up, but not by much. So these, again, are things you would use in confluence with other indicators. The VPEN is an interesting indicator in that you quite often indicate well ahead of time that price is going to make a move in a particular direction. And in this case, you see we're in the middle of a balance area here. This price not really going anywhere, but it says here and again here, this is going to go down. So you have a chance to get into a downtrend before it actually happens. And this is, again, nothing guaranteed, but when you see these sort of fairly sharp moves down, that's the point at which to pay attention to VPN, because it's usually indicates that something is about to happen in that particular direction, whether it's up or down. You see it's gone up here. We go into another balance area, and then subsequently it starts to move up. So it's it's useful. As I say, it's not something you would trade on its own, but in terms of giving early warnings, it's really something very helpful, so that you get a heads up well in advance of what price is potentially going to do. You see again that this green measured move. See the way it just bounces straight off, goes up. I mean that block has been on the chart since hours. I mean, it's started painting it here, 12:49 my time. Price hits it at what was that? It's 13:31. So you got good 3/4 of an hour anyway to start thinking about what you're going to do when price gets up there. And you see we have another strong Baltic there. So I won't labor this too much, because I think you get the gist of how these indicators work. The important thing, as I say, is to keep looking for a confluence of indicators and never trade just with one signal on its own. I think, what else do I have? ZB. Again, I was using the stacking and pulling line shown separately here. Again, with the book, got Rob trades as well. So on the, you see here that the stacking and pulling was bullish. It was stacking on the bids on the blue color here. And the book was also up. So these there were two Rob signals, sell signals, one after the other. So these I would class as being risky. The pressure line was also going up at that point. So it's not a trade that I would think about. Certainly don't expect it to go very far, and it doesn't. But here, when you get to this sell signal from Rob, the pressure line is down. The book is starting to turn over. The stacking and pulling is now on the offer side. So that's a safe trade. And you can see it moves down pretty well. So from, what was that, 116.2 down to around about 115.23. So you would have got about 10 or 11 ticks, so about $300 or so in a few minutes. Well, no, it's a 5-minute chart, so half an hour. And buy signal there. So again, just keep an eye on the stacking and pulling, the book, Baltics, and so on, and you should be pretty safe with these trades. That one was 6E, in case anybody's interested in currencies. But again, it's the same sort of deal, just using a similar set of indicators. See where it always bounces off these green blocks. And they're on there, as I say, quite a long time before the price actually gets there. So you're in good shape. Okay, Kim, if Greg's ready, I think I can leave it there for
Yeah,
any more
thank you so
more
much.
questions. Just Is this an upgrade or addition to the often indicators? Some of them represent an upgrade. I mean, things like Rob are not in the often indicators at the moment. And the intern exercise I showed right at the start is also not yet in often. But the intention is, as long as Ray agrees, to put them in often, or at least to make them available for release. And as I mentioned, I still have some translation to do from Sierra to Ninja. So the Ninja collection at the moment is missing one or two that are on here. The stacking and pulling is one. But I'll get to that as soon as I can. Unfortunately, only so many hours in the day. Any preference of VPin 1 versus VPin 2? Personally, I tend to use VPin 1 more often. I mean, they're both useful indicators. VPin 2 takes a more cumulative approach, and I find it doesn't give quite as many early warnings as VPin 1 does. What's ideal is if you have them both on the chart and they both move down sharply at the same time, then you could be pretty confident things are going to move down or move up if it's in an upward direction. But personally, I use VPin 1 more often. Do the indicators need to be optimized depending on individual markets? Maybe wish your answer on that question. Not very much, Ali. I mean, the indicators I've put on the charts, I have not tweaked the values, and I've just taken default values, putting these on the charts. Now, for things like stop loss, like here, for example, the Rob stop loss is set at 5 ticks. That's a parameter. And you can set that and adjust it, obviously, as you want. I mean, it doesn't do anything when it hits that stop. It's just for your information to see how close it's getting to your stop. But I mean, apart from things like that, no, I don't tweak the indicators. You'll find that the default values work pretty well as they are. You can obviously change colors and thickness of lines and things as you wish. But all of these are pretty much out of the box. Okay.
Thank you so much.
That's it. I'll stop sharing now.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, so let's. All right, Kim. Everybody hear me? Good. Audio test is good.
We're all good. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. So what we did, I had sent. Well, good afternoon, evening, morning to everybody wherever you are in the world. But I sent Kim a list of all the indicators we have because there was some confusion about who had what and what was available and what wasn't available. So we put just a quick snapshot of everything that we have, and I'll run through them one by one. I know we're already an hour and a half into this, so we won't spend too much time on each one. But we have the RGL5, the level 2 indicator, and the automatic session line. That's this one, the Jack Ryan, the value line monitor. I know I call this one mini ES, but this can be customized to anything you want. Let's see, the matrix we have, the fractal one. I don't know if this one was ever explained correctly, but it's a fractal one, fast, slow. I'll try to explain it when we get to it. The option box, the RGL tool, and the additional ones that I don't really think got distributed to everyone, depending on who bought what or whatever. But this was a very simple one. Ray had covered an engulfing candle thing one time, and I know there's a million indicators out there that do this, but I kind of did it just kind of specific to what Ray was doing, and I kept it simple. The ag program levels, we'll go over that real quick, what that does. Nash equilibrium. Ray has shown that a couple of times, and I'll try and explain the concept behind that. Naturally, the VNN, which everybody's pretty much seen, and then the latest skew indicator. We'll talk about that at the end. All right, so what I'll try and do is move this out and get my chart in. And we'll take one by one, okay? Some I won't spend too much time on because you've seen them before. The newer people can reach out to me separately if you have anything. But this here is what we refer to as Ray's RGL version 5. And, the yellow he refers to as VWAP, even though it's not technically VWAP, but he uses it as such. And you set up this indicator for each specific market. So when you go into the settings, you have to input your RGL times. So whether you're doing the oil market, the equity market, gold, whatever market you have up to, Ray requested up to 5 different RGL time zones. So as the indicator is running at those specific RGL time zones, it will recalculate the levels for that next zone. So that's basically what that is. And it's really made up of these 4 indicators that you can go grab separately, except for the aggravator indicator that we really never released as a separate indicator, but it's built into this. And actually, it is built into the other one, to the program level one. So everybody's seen Ray use this a million times. I think it's Kim's favorite indicator. It works really well. If you watch the colors of the candles and where you see it turn blue into the, VWAP or whatever, it usually changes and can come out of that level, and you can see when it returns. I mean, it's a great indicator once you get used to seeing it, the colors and the concepts behind it. And as again, last time I had mentioned, there is a paper that someone put together that Kim, I think, posted on the website, that if you want to get into the specifics and read about each part of what it does, someone already had done that. Okay, so the next one that some of you have is this level 2 indicator. So naturally, what it does is it calculates where the pivot is, and every time we come below the pivot and back in within that pivot, we get a box, and it gives you that level. So, here's the pivot here, price came above it, came back below it, it creates a level 2 box. It's simple, straightforward. Ray has taught this a million times. He talks about it every day, but it was just something, again, as David had said, there's just so many things that Ray teaches that it's hard to learn. It's hard to keep it all in your mind and remember to look at things. And sometimes, things will pop into my head that happened, 5-10 minutes ago on the chart. And I said, oh, a level 2, and I never saw it because I was focusing on something else. So it's just something to pop and remind you that, hey, here they are. Don't forget it. And that's the level. So that should be straightforward. Now this one here, let's see what it is. Okay, this is the automatic session levels. So it was another thing that I felt as though I was doing every day the same thing. I was going back to yesterday's high, yesterday's low, the London high, the London low, the mock level from yesterday, the London fix. So what I did was I built something that just does this automatically every day. So you don't have to do it. You can customize it. You can customize the times. If you don't want a mock ignition level on there and you want to have it go calculate some other level at some other time for some other market, it's all customizable. And it will shade the backgrounds, and you can change the text, I believe, the size of the text, the color of the text, the color of the lines, however you want it. Or you can turn each one on. If you just want, 3 of the lines and you're not interested in the rest, you can get rid of them. So it's just an easy tool to make life a little simpler, and you just don't forget. And it comes on your chart. When I see price coming into a level, I say, oh, wow, because I would have never looked back to the London session if I'm in the middle of the US session. If that line wasn't on there, I wouldn't have realized it. So it just saves the repetitive work every day. The next one we have is the Jack Ryan. Now I had built this. Ray had done a class on this Jack Ryan, and he used a 15-minute chart. So I built it based on that class. If you refer back to it, I don't have the specific date of it, but the concepts are all the same. It's all based on candle times. I put the candle times in, so whatever time frames you want, and it's color coded, and it will project out what the next trade should be. So it's straightforward. You just need to do the Jack Ryan class. It should be simple to interpret, and the chart does exactly what Ray taught. You can stick it anywhere on your chart if you want it at the top, the bottom, the middle, the left or right. I have multiple tables. So what I do is I build a chart with my tables on it, and I place them where they need to be on the size of them to make it manageable. So let's see what this one is. Okay. So this one is the, let me see if I could just, I want to do that. I wanted to get price out of the way, so maybe I can just do this real quick. This one is the value, what do I call it again? Let's see. Got so many things. The value line monitor for the ES. This is set up for the ES. So what you can do is you can put up as many as it allows. I probably put as much as you could possibly get. And I did this to avoid a spaghetti chart. I had so many value lines on my chart. It was just difficult to see what was working, what wasn't working, what was up, what was down, how far they were up, how far they were down. So what I did was I created this so I could put it up on another corner of my chart. You can resize this as well, put it wherever you want. And this is customizable. So if you want to just see it on a micro level, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or however you want to, how many bars as far as look back periods you want to do, you can change that. Or if you want to do a micro and then a macro, whatever, but the default is just 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100 candle look backs. And so what this is telling me is, as of the current bar, this value line ES and Q right now is positive. It's going up. So as of 100 bars ago, it's down. So, and these are the value lines I had plugged in. But again, you can customize this thing to the oil market or gold market or whatever you want to do. You just go into it and change whatever you want. So let's see. The matrix. Now, the reason I built this matrix tool was because every time you draw a line on the chart, either you have to hide everything or delete everything, or should you click on something not knowing it was part of your matrix line and you deleted it, the whole thing would go. I mean, you just lose lines. So what I built this is, I can hide it with one click or bring it back with one click, and you can configure it for whatever market you want to do. So what you're seeing here is for the ES. So what I have it is the black lines are for every 10 points, I believe, and the purples for every 25. And the vertical lines are for every hour and every 30 minute. And if you want to turn that off, if you just want to see the hours, you could just do that, or just the 30 minutes, you could do that. Naturally, the 30 minutes will be included in the hour. So, and you could change the colors and whether you want it solid or dotted or whatever you want. As far as the horizontal, the thickness, and the vertical lines. So that was just something I did because I was just losing my lines all the time, and it was hard. And when he talks about the matrix all the time, it's just good to have in the background, but sometimes you just have too much on the chart, and I do want to hide it momentarily sometimes. So that was that one. Now this one, this fractal one, fast and slow. Ray always talks about fast and slow markets. So I was trying to figure out a way how to give myself something to look at to see if we're in what side of fast and slow. So what this is actually doing is, if you see this fractal, and you can change the definition of your fractals as well, whether you want 2 to the left, 2 to the right, or whatever. So what it's doing is taking this fractal here and finding the next bottom fractal. So in this case here, it came down within 2 bars. So what it's going to do is draw this line here. It's 3, so right here it would be if price came back to that level, it would be equal. If it doesn't come back to that equal, you have to assume it's fast down and slow up. So that was the concept behind it. You'll see it here again, right? This is the fractal here. This is the fractal here. So if you count the bars, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. So what happens? It will draw 8 bars of dots. So if price doesn't come back to that 8th dot, you have a fast down and a slow up. So that was the concept behind it. It's fully customizable. You can also add, solid lines behind it if you want the actual fractal line with it. So you could have both on there. You could take a look at it, but that is the concept behind it. I don't really think it was ever explained to anyone, but that is what it does. So let's see. All right, key levels. This was another one. We did key levels, and every time I put a key level on the chart, and it was I would click on a line, delete it, move it, thinking it was something else, and I couldn't get them off and create them properly. So I built this so that every night when he releases his key levels in the tweets, I pop them in real quick, and now they're on my chart. I can color code them or do whatever I want with them, and they're there. And if I want to hide them again because I have too many lines on my chart, I can take them off with a click, put them back on with a click, and see exactly where his key levels are. So it's just a tool to help, once again, with your graphics on your chart and help clean it up once in a while. The option box, that was another thing that he did. So it was just a quick and dirty tool that I built to put in, actually, if you watch the class on it, you'll see, you'll put in, the date, so of where you want the box to print, and then the strike price that you're looking at. This is just arbitrary information I just stuck in for this class. So I just stuck in the strike price, what the call price and the put price was, and this will give you the levels, the gamma levels that should either hold or not hold, depending on the market action. And isn't it funny? It almost worked perfect with arbitrary numbers that I didn't do that on purpose, and it worked. But every day you just update those numbers and you have a box. And once again, I really use it on my SPY chart. I just did it on this chart to show it real quick. But and then, get it off if you want, clean up your chart, put it back on, see where those levels are. Normally what I also do on this, I put horizontal lines on it with a, I probably should build it into this so that when price hits one of these levels, it pops an alert. If I get time, I will add that. And I will add another thing to, I was thinking about being able to convert it from what the SPY levels are to the equivalent levels on the ES chart, because I know Ray does that a lot too. So if I can get time to do an upgraded edition of it, I'll add those two in. So what is this one? Let's see. I don't even know what it is. Oh, the RGL tool. Okay. So this, I know we have the Ray's RGL tool, but he, that tool recalculates the RGL at different times. This one does as well. I actually use both of them because the other one is like a gap of time that he uses for his RGLs in the RGL, Ray's RGL version. This one, you have to be on the time frame that I can recognize. That's why it wasn't coming up. So this one calculates every day, so you can see, if you're moving higher with RGLs or lower. I think you can put up to 5 or 6 different time frames in here. So if you want to do different time frames, like this happens to be the 4 o'clock close every day, they will color differently depending on if it closes on a red bar, a down bar, a green bar, or a doji bar. You can put whatever text in you want and the size of the text, and you can change the shading of the boxes as well. And as I said in it, you can put as many RGLs as it allows, which is oh well, okay, I got up to eight of them in there. So if you're breaking up your day into 8 different RGL time zones or whatever, you can take care of that, up to 8 of them. And I do overlay this over the Raise RGL version 5 to see exactly where they are based on this method. Another simple one I had done was an engulfing pattern. He did a class on this and talked about this as well. And I know there's a lot out there that covers this, but anytime we get a bar that encompasses the full body of the prior bar, I color it. Now you can go into the settings and color these bars, bullish or bearish, anyone you want. I just did it black for purposes of the class so you can actually see it, because I don't know how it's going to come through on the graphics on your screen. But if you want to see every time you get a bar that covers the prior bar, this was one of the classes he also addressed. So I did that as well. So let's see what else we got. Okay, so the ag program levels. He did a scalping class, and he used it on a 15-second chart. So I have this up on a 1 minute, but it's the same concept. It'll work on the 15-second chart as well. So what it does is it grabs the ag stripe that comes up, and it will draw a line where the volume came in at. So the theory is where it pushes through, when it comes back to that should be a level where you should consider entering. And this was the first one, so this was the other level. So it's just a guide like anything else. You'll look at this and do measures on it and see where they fall in your supply and demand zones and different things. So it was just a concept. He did like a whole scalping class on this. I draw the lines up until the next ag, and that's where I stopped them. And the other thing that he says, when you get another ag with overlapping candles on 2 lags, what I did was to demonstrate that I drew a box. So every time you see a yellow box, that means we have 2 ags with the same pricing. So either that's going to be a change or whatever, and you need to see that. So that was that. Let's see, what's the next one? The Nash equilibrium. This was another one class. He's done many classes on this Nash equilibrium, right? So here we go. Here's the concept behind it. Each bar, what I did was I calculated the high and the low, the distance. And what we do is we put a point out on the bottom for your bid and the top for your offer. So that's the class and the exercise that he's done a million times in class. So that would be your bid and offer levels. So what happens is at some points, the Nash equilibrium comes together. So where you get it, they both come in, I color the candle differently. So you'll see the different color candles. If it's a candle, it does it this. If it happens to be a doji, you can't really color it. So what I did was I made it a box over the whole candle. So that's why you see some big blocks and some candles that are colored. But and you can remove, just to clean up your chart, if you go into it, if you don't want to see the bid and ask lines and you just want to see where these lines are exhausting, so see where it comes to a top, you'll see it colors, and usually it exhausts at tops and bottoms. That's the whole theory about the Nash equilibrium. You can remove those lines and clean that up if you don't want to see the bid and ask lines on it. Just come into this, get rid of them, and then you'll just see your colored bars, however color you want to make them. So we will move on to the next one, which is the VNN box, right? Supply and demand boxes. Now, a few of you are having issues with this. I've went back and forth with maybe 3 or 4 of you on this. As you can see, it's taking time to load. There's so many calculations that it's doing to create these boxes. It takes a bit, and I got my computer overloaded now myself. But you can go into the indicator and configure it any which way you want. So here come the boxes. So you define what your fractal level is. How many candles to the left, how many candles to the right. And that's how it will calculate the supply and demand. So you want to kind of see where the supply and demand boxes are on a higher time frame, that's when you would just push this up to the candles to the left to kind of represent what those fractals would be on a higher time frame. And then the the boxes stop when a candle breaks them. So that's why you'll see some of these boxes shortened and then some of them are long, and that's controlled by this. So what I did in here was you put in a number that says how far out do you want this box to draw, before it doesn't mean anything anymore or whatever. So that's that. And you can color shade it however you want. I put the midline in each box as well. If you want that in, you can put that in, and if you don't want it, you can take it out. You can change the color. The text of each box, you can do that as well. It's fully customizable as far as that's concerned. I think it works great when you look at your chart. I mean, this is just an arbitrary chart, and you can see it as soon as it gets into these demand level, supply level, it comes down, and it either stops it for a while, or if it's going to make it through. I think earnings came out today for some reason at 420, because I was watching my dome and it was just crazy in here. But if you look back, I mean, look, these are all projected out well before price gets there, and it just hits that box, comes off, and hits that box, comes off, and the next one it comes off. This turned out to be a really good tool to use. So the latest, what will we talk about? We can talk about the skew lines. Now, this really is fairly new. And what we're doing is we're trying to customize the settings in it for each market so it works well. Now this is on the oil market today. The B I put in front is for a Brent trigger. So the Brent skew triggered here, and the T was the crack spread. Now I got to go change the code on that because I guess I forgot to change this one, but that will say a C for crack spread, so you can tell the difference. But as you can say, this is today's market, right? This morning. And, as Ray says, you have to think when you see these things. So when it comes in here and it gives you that level, you can look at that level and see what's happening to see if that's going to be your trade. Now, certainly you could have took the trade here, and it does give you these signals on a sell on an up candle and a buy on a down candle. And that you can change that as well, but that's how I have to set it now, so that you don't say, well, yeah, you gave me the buy here, but ultimately I couldn't get in here. No, that came in right at the bottom of the candle. So there's certainly an opportunity to get these trades and get out with a +1 if you don't scalp it out, depending on your value and what else you're seeing. And most of them definitely get a +1, and you can get good runs. So, I mean, you can see, depending on what value is doing on your chart, you draw these levels in like he was talking about yesterday, and I can't draw a level. But, you can see what happens, and you top tick it here, you practically top ticked it here, you practically top ticked it here, and you got it here and you got it here. So you can really use this pretty good to scalp these skew levels out of the market. So pretty much we have the settings for the oil. I think hopefully Ray is working on it to optimize this better for us. And I have it on the gold market. I've used it there and it works really well. And I believe we can use it hopefully on the bond market. And I'm going to attempt to use it on the equity markets as well. We just haven't gotten that far. It's the same indicator, so it's not a matter of it being a different indicator. It's just changing the settings. So I'm not sure how we're going to release this, whether it's going to be separate versions for each market so that the settings are in, or we just give you the basic skew indicator with an Excel spreadsheet with whatever optimized settings at the time we believe are the best to use, and then you can go in and optimize it however you want. So that basically covers everything. I do have other tools. I have other things that automate, buys and sells that work fairly well. But Ray has added so much more to these lessons that I need to go back and add some more stuff to it. They work well for me. They're not something that is going to get released now, but they work. They work well. And if I can get the time to add a couple more things to it that Ray has done, um, we'll see if we can get those released as well. And right now, I am in the process of getting the heat map entry indicator that he's been teaching in class with the heat map, using the orange and red candles, drawing the bid and the ask levels on it, and then comparing it to value, and getting a buy and sell indicator on what side of that trade you should be on. Hopefully I can get that done by next week, and then Kim will decide how she wants to roll that one out as well. So Kim, I covered everything unless there's some questions. I guess I should look, right? How many skews can one set up? Or you use fixed look back periods? Oh, on the skew indicator? The skew indicator, I have a lot of skews. I think I have 5 regular skews and 3 RSIs. The look back periods are a little bit different. For the skews, the look back periods are coded so that anything within that look back period, if it triggers a true value, in other words, if you say my look back period is 10, if any one of those candles proves a positive result, it'll stay positive for that skew. With the value, I did it a little differently. I picked 2 points. So in other words, if you wanted to use a macro value or a micro value, whatever, the value that you put in, if you use a 5 candle look back period, it will only compare 5 candles ago compared to the current candle. So I guess the question is how many? You got 8. I think there's 5 regular skews and 3 RSIs. Let's see. The RGL, is there a guide for the time? um, there's different markets, there's different times. Some people have different methods of how they want to trade it, whether they just want to use the open and the close, or like Ray does. I mean, he goes through the 24-hour spectrum and changes it 5 different times or 4 different times. So it's really your preference, and that's why we leave it open to you. You learn your market, and you can customize it any which way you want. Everything that's been built, I've always built with flexibility so that you're not locked into anything that I'm doing or that Ray's doing, whatever, that you can customize it to the way you see fit for your own trading. Sure, Scott. I'm so busy, it's very hard to get time, but if I do see something in there, I will by all means do my best to get back to you, certainly. There wasn't Scott, an optimum setting for the oil market or gold market, or well, I'm not too sure what market. Yeah, I guess are you referring to the RGL levels or the skew level? Skew indicator. I guess RGLs. Okay. So optimum RGLs, actually, Ray will tell you every candle can be an RGL. So, and now, to be honest, he's even in some way, shape, or form telling you to look at the XE candles, right? And that's what on the hour and half hour, and they become RGLs as well. So RGL just stands for red green level. You establish a level that means something to you for whatever market you're on and create an RGL. I have up to 8 in that indicator if you're using the RGL indicator, and you can do it any which way you want. So it's really up to you. Yeah, all the indicators are going through Kim. So whatever issue you have or whatever package you have or whatever it is, you have to go through her, and then she communicates with me, and that's how we get them out. So there'll be more. Every time Ray comes up with an idea, just like David said earlier, we try and stay on top of doing whatever we can to grasp his class and training and the concept of whatever it is. And it's not because we're lazy or anything. And I tell that to Kim all the time. I don't want Ray to think we're lazy and we're just trying to automate things so we don't have to learn them. It's just that there's just so much to remember as you're trading, especially if you're looking at multiple markets. And, I hate to say it, but I think I got 22 screens in front of me and it's hard to see everything at the same time. So, you know, I have NinjaTrader screens that are running order flow separate from TradingView screens that are running this type of stuff. So yes, some of the indicators overlap because David has them in TradingView. I mean NinjaTrader, but I do focus on my TradingView charts outside of the order flow. So that's why I started building them here. So if you have any questions, reach out. We'll certainly help you out. If you have any ideas on how to make something better, certainly reach out. I'm open to ideas, and it's hard to get into everybody wants a custom this or can you do that. Some of those are hard to get into because I got so much on my plate that we're trying to get done. But certainly if you look at something and say, hey, you know what, if you just did this to it, it would be so much better. Please, by all means, pop me a text or whatever, and we'll take a look at it. All right, Kim, did we cover everything that you needed or?
Thank you, Greg. Excellent. That was so good. I was thinking of one of our new guys that joined. It's going to be the perfect session for him that can go through each one of the steps. This is what I think you've been looking for. I think you guys can see that. But again, thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, Greg. I know both of you are super busy and they do an amazing, amazing job. So I want to thank both of them, and we'll answer all your questions. But as we've got showing here, hopefully that'll show okay. Sometimes because I'm going from one computer to the next, it's hard. Let's see, there it goes. As we know, Harry, I can't grab the phone because I'm in here talking. Anyway, these guys were showing you all types of tools and all that you can use. And as always, use those, with good risk in mind and knowing what you need to see. But money management is first and foremost. Everything they're showing, is you can't take a look at it and say, oh, I want to get this because it's definitely going to make me profits. We don't know. But we have really good tools and they're definitely used as an aid to help you. So use them for that. Like I said, the tools that you've seen today, you saw David showing the different tools for Sierra charts and for Ninja. And then Greg came in and showed you the tools that we have for TradingView. And it's important for traders to understand the difference, why there's some of them are different. TradingView does not have depth of market, so you're not going to see the order flow type tools in TradingView. And so that's why the tools that we have available for Sierra Charts and Ninja, they're classified for that. And the ones we have for TradingView, because they're different systems, and that will help you with your trading. And the two different things that we're going to have, and many of you may have, I saw Adrian's question of, are some of these things in here, depending on what package you have. Some of you may just have the scalping 6, which is the absorption, the buying, the measured move, the pressure line, selling, exhaustion, and Baltic, which I think is a great base package if you're just getting started. But the other things that he covered, those would be in the full exclusive, full suite that we have. And then we have a couple tools that haven't been released yet. Those are coming soon. So be on the lookout for those coming up. And, the one thing that I think is important to see, these tools were built based around Ray's teachings. Ray uses these tools. These guys build these tools and, they'll develop them to help from themselves. They'll give it to Ray to take a look at. he uses them. So these tools, are not just, stuff that was developed. Ray also uses them because they show what he's wanting to see in the market based around classes that he's taught. And I think that's so important. I think so many times traders think indicators know things that they don't know, and it should be just the opposite. You should know. And, like I said, a lot of our traders in the group use these tools. You'll see like, uh, I think this was Reeve, showing an example of using the indicators, the blue and the pink blocks absorption, and how he's taught that. And you can see the traders in our group really get to develop a narrative around why they're taking a trade. And that comes back to the basis of they know what they're looking for. The tool helps highlight that for them, but they could see it themselves. So it becomes like you have your own personal assistant. And just, Reeve always is saying, well, Ray always says, and just making monies. And so we have Reeve chiming in saying making his monies for the day. But the two different packages that we have available currently is the starter package and the full, which has 30 plus indicators in there, which does also include the starter pack. So everything that you saw today, excluding the Rob and which was new, the understanding the intern exercise, which is so important when Ray's teaching traders coming in. We have that scalping group. So that's going to be a super nice tool for traders to use on that. And then we have the on TradingView, as Greg showed, the big board, and everybody knows that I love the RGLs. I think this is a perfect package through TradingView to build, because the big board is going to show you which side of the market that you want to be on, give you the sentiment. And with the RGLs, I like the aggregate volume because it's showing you where there's going to be coming with a change. Then you add in the supply and the demand, which he was showing you. You're going to be able to, see if you're in a trade, these will act like a magnet, or, where you may want to get out, or you may want to be looking to change. And then you add in the skew. And when those things all line up, it gives you such a good package. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys through a step of building it out that way. You put yourself something that's not, all cluttered up or anything, but it gives you a really nice picture that, if you're on the blue side of the market, you may be saying, okay, I only want to be looking for longs, then I'm going to be looking where I have, demand that I can get trades, or supply where you're looking for pullbacks. Ray has been recently talking about that. Putting yourself in the position to use the pullbacks gives you a strong position, and you have all these tools that highlight it. A number of our traders use like this as their base for their structure, their framework. They use David's tools because that's going to give you those pristine, really the entries, because order flow gives you more depth of what you want to see in the market. So I feel like the classes, the lessons that Ray's taught, then you take these tools that put you in a really strong position to build confidence in what you're seeing and how to execute, with confidence and get those pristine prices. And then here's just another, putting it all together with the supply, demand, the RGLs. Like I said, I love the RGLs. Anyone new coming in knows that I'm always telling people, use this to get started. Or even if you're not new, if you're, looking for, struggling to build confidence and you want to build consistency, building out a framework like this takes away, it's not putting on too much. It's giving you a clear picture in the market. So give that some thought. But I think these tools, and in this, what you're seeing here is using the big board with the supply and demand, and then adding the new skew tool that we'll be showing you this afternoon. Like I said, once again here, Ray has David's tools, and we've got, a few other guys in our group that have developed tools that, Ray puts on his charts and uses as well. But, here he is showing the, the RGLs. He's showing the supply and demand with the skew and stuff. So like I said, these tools get used regularly on a day-to-day basis. They're super valuable. So you can get the TradingView suites, you can get the package with the big board, the VN. Those tools all come together. And then now the skew is new. It's going to be a separate standalone tool. Greg's put a lot of work, and there's a lot of complexity that goes, behind the scenes on that tool. And these tools, I just want to make sure that traders know, some of you guys that are coming in, that spending the time with these lessons is going to give you that extra confidence. It's not just about the indicator. But here's what we have for our TradingView Black Friday special. You have everything that Greg went down through the list, so I'm not going to read them all out, but that gives you the recent releases that that we've had, and the full suite, and the VN, which you guys had recently. Now here's what I got to thinking. There was some tools that after we got off here last time, I didn't realize that Greg already had them in there. So I wanted to make sure, that's why I said, well, we'll do another session. We'll make sure that we get everybody up to date. So if you're somebody that's bought the full package the other day, which included the VN, or you bought the VN because you were upgrading because you had the original, guess what I have for you? A little sweet gift bonus that we'll be sending those to you. So it'll be that candle indicator, the ag program levels, and the Nash equilibrium. So those additional 3 indicators that he was showing there, if you have bought already the full suite, or if you had bought the originally, when we first released the package, and then you added the VN box, the buy sell boxes in there, we're going to send this to you. So Serge will be sending you an email, or you can reach out, but it's for those of you that have bought either the full package, or you bought the original full suite and then bought the VN to add to it because we had that slide. So that'll get you up to date with all the indicators that we have up to this point, excluding the skew. And we will give you a special offer for our guys. We want to make sure that you have that. And Adrian, yes, it's $99. You can buy the VN sold separately for $99. But I just wanted to make sure, we're super appreciative of you guys taking care and being with us over the years and stuff. And so when I saw that, I thought, okay, how do I do this? Well, we'll just make sure to include it back in there, and that'll take care of you on that. But we are going to keep, because the skew is, indicator, it'll be a standalone. So I think that'll be a good way to keep that. We are, so if you want I don't know why this did it. Serge was trying to fix this for me earlier, and here it's doing it again, but hopefully you can see the price. So the regular price on the skew when it's doing all the markets is going to be $9.97, but we're doing this because you guys are in our group. We're doing it for the $3.97. It'll be a member's price to you guys. That's the one way that we're going to do this going forward. We'll have a special member's price, and then we'll have our regular price. So for those of you that have been in and been in the program and stuff. It's a way for you to be able to add the tools at, continued reasonable prices, because these tools are amazing, and, they can be out there selling for, lots. We're not trying to be in the indicator business. Our guys have done a great job of giving you guys top institutional grade tools, and we want to make sure that you have them. But most importantly, we want you to build the confidence with the knowledge as well, to do that. Michelle, you can go ahead and get that today. So we'll there, if you go to the compassfx.com/TV-suite, we're going to make the $397 available to you guys right away. Oh, thank you, Serge. Serge is so good. He's putting up the tools, and along with the indicators, you do have the, some of the on-demand, and a number of you guys are in the trade room as well. So you guys get the lessons, and they're, super valuable to you in that way. So then you've got the both different suites. You've got the Often, which is your Sierra charts and Ninja. And we've got these now. This will be the final time that we're offering these at this price. We did this a few days ago, and we were going to, that was going to be the end of them. Then we found out that we had some tools in there that I wasn't sure, and I said, okay, we'll do a wrap up. Since we're so close to Black Friday, we'll just keep all this. This will be our Black Friday special. So you want to go ahead and get, you can have the full suite on the Often package, which is for Sierra charts or Ninja. You can do the separate different indicators, the big board, RGL, sentiment, or just the VN, or you can get the full package for $299, which does include the VN and the special 3 other indicators. Or if you want, you can add the SKU, which is a separate tool by itself. Now, I want to be clear on the chart we have for, where we've got to go back on this. Right now, it's only available on oil and gold, and bonds and equities are coming. So he's working on those. So those will be included. So I want to make sure that you guys know any updates on, he's going to be making updates. So that helps. Also, one of the reason we're coming in with good special pricing, it gets you guys going. He's been getting inundated, people wanting this tool, and so we're getting this out. And then as the different updates come, we'll get those. He'll push those out to you. They'll come to your invite only in your scripts. So that's, Michelle's going to be released. And Kuba, yes. So these prices are for you guys now, Kuba. And this price will not, the $397, after we get this initially done, then that's going to be it for that price. And then it'll go to regular $997 and $597 for our members. Hopefully that makes sense. And the SKU will not be released for Ninja. These were developed unless David's able to develop something like this. Greg did these for TradingView. Yay, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Phil. I think it's amazing. I truly do. So if you go to the compassfx.com/TV-suite, I mean, you think about, like I was saying, bringing it all together. You've got your RGLs, and he showed a lot of other little things you can use, but let's just say, keeping it simple, you've got your RGLs, the big board, you've got your VN, which is your supply demand. Then you come in, you've got your buy sells. Now, let's be clear. The buy sells don't mean that you just automatically jump in there and take a buy or sell. you guys that have spent time, you guys spend time in there, you know what that means. As Ray always says, you got to line it up, with your other things. But it's a good place also to use in using in conjunction with the order flow. That's going to give you those pristine prices. That's going to build your confidence because you're going to see the other things. And when I'm saying that, that doesn't mean that you're going to have analysis by paralysis, because you guys have learned those pieces of exactly, as Ray says, write it out for yourself exactly what you want to see, and then just take those trades, build your confidence. We have a number of you guys that have been doing the challenges and getting funded in your accounts, and that makes me so happy, and I think these tools just add that extra confidence. Let's see. So, Mark, your question. It does. It does work on, like Ray was just showing. I don't know if, and I probably don't have it in there, but like yesterday, and it might be on here. Let me see. It says from yesterday on the, where, I guess I don't have it on here. If yesterday on the SKU, it was like perfection of being able to, it picked it literally bottom ticked, which I'm sure Greg was showcasing that as well. It only had a couple trades yesterday on the oil, but it bottom ticked like literally the turn, and it gave you another add-in, on a pullback to be able to get in as well. So I think it was perfection for everything that we look for. Yes. So Alan, are you talking about for, let's say, if you buy, yes. So for those of you that buy the SKU, even if you've bought the others, you'll still need to send me your username, your TradingView username, so that I'll be able to get it over to Greg for him to push the tool out to you, if that makes sense. And I think this is something that you guys have been wanting. I'm seeing, thank you, George. I can't see all of you. It's like the little deals popping up, so I can tell that you guys are coming in ordering, but I can't tell. Can't see everybody's name. Thank you, Alan. Yes, your question. Thank you. Yes, if you'll email me, I think Serge will be sending, but you guys do the same. Email me or Skype me. Be happy to get you taken care of. But a number of you guys have, and I want to thank you too, because we appreciate you. So let me get back here to, so you guys can take a look at where you want to be. So don't forget if you've already bought, I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, I'm always having to buy something. You're getting a gift too. If you've already bought, if you bought the full package, you're going to be given the additional tools as well. It's our thanks, instead of making them into a separate bundle or only making them available if you buy the SKU. I want to make sure that we're taking care of you as well. You're so welcome. I just am so appreciative of you guys, and I hope you know that. I know the hard part about on our job is I do have to run the business. We do have costs, so I do have to sell, because if it was, if in a world where I won the lottery and all of that, we would just give all this to you guys, but we can't. So we try to make things as reasonable as possible. I think being able to be in the room with Ray and, the lessons, we're coming up on 10 years with Ray, which is amazing. And I think I'm going to have to do we'll have a special party because we absolutely have some of the guys that have been in literally for the entire time. And so I probably going to get emotional just thinking about that because I appreciate you guys so much. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. But if you go to compassfx.com/OF-suite, you'll see the what we have for Sierra Charts and Ninja. And then to TradingView for, you go to compassfx.com/TV-suite. So we have OF and TV. Yes. So the stuff that you have set, and we'll be doing some sessions as well. And here's the funny thing. Greg was saying, one of the guys in the group that was doing some testing is, drum roll, on copper. It was working really well. So I think that's great. And, one of the things, and I think David was highlighting it on the VPN. I know another David in the group has been using VPN. He thinks it's just like absolute magic. So I'm so thankful that we've, done these sessions, got everybody up to date because Ray's drug back out like VPN and a couple different things. And when we were talking about the measured move, I think you guys would be surprised just, going through these tools. And I'm glad that both David went through and highlighted, what each of these tools, work for, how they help, how you can use it best in your trading, because it may, trigger an idea of you guys thinking what you need. So there you go on that. Oh, thank you, Alonzo. I will, as soon as I am off of here, I'll be happy to do that. Yes, Simon, if you'll send me I think you have me on Skype, I can give you an upgrade link because I know you have the 6. You absolutely can do the upgrade on that. Absolutely. We appreciate that. And like I said, on these, just know that everything's not all set and ready yet. Like I said, coming soon, Rob. It'll be on Sierra Charts. And like David was saying, it'll first be released on Sierra Charts. Once he gets it ready, gets everything done, we'll release that. And then he'll get it ready for Ninja. But he doesn't want to be trying it on both in case, until Ray's made the decisions on how it needs to be, so he's not doing stuff back and forth a zillion times. And the link for the on the SKU, if you go to compassfx.com/TV-suite, and then you'll see the link for in there to, where you can make the choice for the full, the VN, or you can make the choice for the SKU. Thank you, Melvin. Appreciate you. Like I said, this is what Rob's going to look like. Everybody wants Rob. Everybody's been patiently waiting forever and ever for Rob, so I guess we're probably not so patient on it, but we're ready. And I did speak to Ray about it yesterday. He thought he'd have some time this week to spend a little time getting that all ready. And for those of you that have not been in the group or the room for a bit, some of you guys are, just in the Skype group and stuff, but the program trades with the trade log is already available through Ray's Smart Alpha. And that's been super, super valuable. Like I said, Ray uses these tools. Like he was saying, like, I think I used this last time, should have sent out 1 billion marketing emails on all these great catches. But reach out to me. We've been in our 2024 Intern to Pro special offer, better every day. So if you have any questions, as always, just schedule your call with me. Some of you I know are not in every day, so that's why I want to put this out there. Schedule a call with me. Now, some of you work and aren't able to be, you're in the program, but you're not able to be on a daily basis. But we appreciate you and we want to be there to help you. Can I answer? Let's see. Platform fees for Sierra Chart like Ninja. It's not a free platform. You have to, there's different levels of the platform. And I'm not sure if they run a special. And in case anyone's wondering, it's a great time. TradingView is doing their Black Friday specials up to 70% off. So you can buy their premium package, which, you know, is perfect for how Ray teaches, because you can do all the compare studies. You can add the additional overlays and charts, and you can, you know, get down to the seconds in the on the charts. And I think it's like $217 for the year. So for $217, it saves you 70%, which is a really, really nice savings. And I think Apex, for those of you doing the funded challenges, I think they're doing like 90% off. So lots of good things there. And Gil, I know you signed up for the full package, which you'll get the yesterday. You'll get the bonus that we did, but the SKU is a standalone. And Adrian, the instructions, we just have the few, you know, we have the sessions that we've done, and then just the different lessons, you know, that you've been doing with Ray. So Gil, you may want to add that if you want, you know, that whole picture. It's a good time, you know, for adding that. I know you did added the other part of the suite, but you will also get those 3 sessions that we talked about. Like I was saying, we are going to end the pricing on all of this. You know, I think when we started on the packages with David, you know, we only had a few. He's added and added, and you know, I think we were at like 197. We're at, you know, 297, which is crazy for the institutional value of these indicators. You know, I've been looking around. You guys, you shouldn't want me looking around seeing what everybody else is charging for their indicators. I was like, oh my goodness, they're charging like $1,000 for stuff that, you know, we've got 30 of in there, and they're only giving you one indicator. Greg mentioned a document. Oh, he did the document that, yes, we do have that of each indicator that's in there. We do have that, Adrian. I'll have Serge post that in the, I think I gave that to Serge Day. We'll make it into a file so it can go in there so people know the different indicators that we have. And Greg has said when he has just a moment to catch up, he's just added a bunch to his workload through his businesses. And so he's working hard to get these tools and resources for us, and trying to do the backup, but run his business as well. It's all good there. So I'm going to go back and put this up, and then I'm going to just answer questions, turn off the, so we'll let this get caught back up. So there you go. There's both of the different, the compassfx.com/OF-suite for Ninja Sierra charts. And we appreciate you guys grabbing up those tools. And we've got TV-suite. And I know everybody's excited for Rob, so we've got a lot of good things coming for you guys. Johnny, yes, Yes, the VN is included in, depending on when you got your package. Like if you got the package this summer, then no, but if you got the package recently, then yes, that VN is included. And then also, then you'll also have the 3 additional tools that we were talking about. So guys, make sure take advantage of this Black Friday special and our special gift. And thanks to you guys for supporting us. We want to support you as well. You can always reach out to me, Kim at compassfx.com. Catch me on Skype. Let's get a call. Happy to answer any questions I can. All right. I'll just get rid of that recording that way. Serge can get it ready for the evening. Oh, absolutely, TJ. Reach out. Happy to help you. I hope you're doing okay. Have you had, I can't remember when your surgery was scheduled, but I hope you're doing okay. We appreciate you. Okay, so you're 1 month out. So I was thinking the last time maybe we spoke that you were getting ready to have it or something. So I hope your recovery is going well. Oh, I'm glad you're doing better. I'm hoping that you'll feel better. So important. Awesome, awesome. And hey, Johnny, we're going to end the promotion. We're going to have it going through, for Black Friday. So we'll have it here for the next, couple days. If, you can get in and get your stuff that way, I can get it over to Greg that way during the holidays because, during certain times when he's going to be with Bama, we may not get back to you. So you guys get your orders in today. It's like ordering your pies. We should have said November 1st, right? I love to cook, but I am not a good baker. But we don't even have anybody here. Well, we probably do now. People do the things, but this place that one of my daughters gets pies from, you have to order before November 1st if you want a pie. If you, is it the Ian? You can Skype me, Forex Kim. So you guys can, to send me your details, you can send to or Skype. I see a bunch of you guys have Skyped me. I'll, as soon as I get off here, I'll start gathering them up. I'm ready for Greg and for David. But thank you guys very, very much. So I don't know if that kind of answers your question. Thanksgiving special. We will be getting these all ready. Thank you, David, so much for coming in today. And to Greg. I know poor Greg had a full schedule for work stuff, had doctors and over the the weekend, David was saying he was getting hit kind of left and right, people having questions. So I think we'll continue to have the sessions. It's an easier place to answer people's questions and go into details in the indicators so you guys can stay caught up. And yes, so for those of you that are just, getting some of this and all, we'll take a look at what Greg will be able to see and make sure to push out so that you have all of the indicators that you're supposed to have. And if you are missing something, you can always reach out to me. I'll get it coordinated. Like I said, we will absolutely be sending you, those of you that did recently order the full suite that included the VN, then I'll be sending you an email and then you can reply back to me and we'll get your special gift to you, which is those other 3. All right, guys, it looks like most of the questions I'm going to keep the chat open here. I'll keep an eye on it in case there's any other questions, but just reach out. Make sure you reach out, kim@compassfx.com. Catch me on Skype. That's usually the fastest place. And if you want to speak, we can either speak through Skype or I can give you a call. We can schedule a call. In fact, I think I have one with Al tomorrow night. Look forward to speaking if you're in here, Al. Look forward to having a conversation. You know what? That's a good question. I don't know if David's still on here. David, are you still on? David may be able to answer that. If here's Michael's question is the new pulling stacking, is it in the recent full suite? There you go. There's your answer, Michael, which is good for you because I think are you on Sierra charts? I think you are. And I did get an answer for you. Ray he was having some trouble with the stuff freezing, and that's why he's not been keeping the charts up. And he feels like most everybody has their charts, and since he's not showing the trade log after, because most of you guys have access to it through Smart Alpha. So I did get the answer for you yesterday. Not the one that you probably were wanting, but the answer. Okay, yes, so the stacking and pulling is only available currently in Ninja until he gets it translated over. So hopefully that answers that. Ooh, thank you, Melvin. We love it. Thank you so much. Melvin's spending some of his profits from today, which you're trading. You've been doing so good. So happy for you. So he's investing more back in himself. That's a good way to do it, Melvin. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Melvin. And thank you. We appreciate your support.